All right, so guys, we're going to be doing a brand new series on the channel where we take a look every week at an auction house ending and kind of just give some feedback on those auctions that are here. I actually have a guest over here who's going to be on every week, which is Matt. You can actually follow him on Instagram, Matt's Vintage Vault. Has a ton of pre-war football cards, one of the best collections out there that I know. And he's going to be also on a personal collection series a little bit later on, so you guys can see a deep dive into his card collection. But what's also kind of cool about Matt is his dad also collected cards, so a second generation cardboard collector, and has been in the hobby pretty much his entire life.
Cool. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to diving into these items, giving a little bit of feedback on what I think about them from a, collecting standpoint, a buying and selling standpoint, kind of, what I think these items, should go for at and kind of, what they should be like.
So the first auction house we're going to be taking a look at is Lelands. It's going to be ending this specific Sunday. And also to count out, or at least to call this out too, we have no sponsorships with any of these auction houses. So this is just our live feedback. We're recording this as one take. We'll edit out a few things, but no affiliation. So let's take a look at what's going on the Lelands.com auction. So you want to talk a little bit about the PMG Michael Jordan? I'm not too familiar with 90s inserts unless you are.
I am not. I definitely wanted to start with the Jackie that's next to it.
That's what caught my eye a lot more. Although I'm sure someone that collects basketball cards is like, how did you skip over this? But I'm just not interested in it, to be honest with you. Especially
it's not something I don't collect 90s stuff. So even from an insert standpoint, I mean, you'll see a lot of high sales and stuff. It's just not a market that I play in or have really bought anything in. It's just not something I would really want to talk about too much.
All right, let's take a look at this Jackie. So first, this has an authentic grade with an autograph of a 9. It's at $61,744 right now. And let's take a look at this autograph.
Yeah, I mean, I think that items like this will definitely be a theme of a lot of my investment thoughts around stuff like this. Is I think sometimes people buy the autograph stuff without really an understanding of how good the autograph is. They say, oh, this is signed, and so it's worth this or something like that. But I think that the actual visual experience of the autograph is much more valuable than some of the things that we have there. This is a great example. This is just an awesome autograph. Very little sort of spacing issues or, color issues with it. This is one that, I definitely believe, has a 9. And if you're looking at something where it's, this is something you want to own or something like that, I really do think from an autograph perspective, this is a really good item, just due to those reasons.
Even looking at the card itself, I know it's an authentic over here. They just have the bit. I can't tell if it's paper edition or paper loss. Just based off that scan, but like it looks like a solid. I mean, assuming that this would not be there, looks like a solid 4-ish, 3 to 4-ish. I mean, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this item is going to go for probably less than some of the other Jackies we've seen recently, some of the 49s and some of the things like that, just due to the fact that it's authentic and doesn't have a grade with it, but. Buying something that's signed, the autograph really should be the driver, in my opinion, of the value and the quality of the autograph. This is something that, they call it best of the best in this auction. This is definitely one that, I think is pretty good. We'll see some examples through this auction where they are technically signed, but the autograph to me is pretty poor. And so, it's something I would stay away from, but, noting that stuff is, I think, valuable when you look at, is this an item that I want to buy that has really good upside, especially when we talk about signed items.
Now take a look at the description if it mentions anything like what's going on over there. So.
Yeah, it says paper loss right there, it looks like.
Roughness to edges, yeah. It is paper loss, not paper edition.
Yeah, that's a bummer because I mean this thing would have graded, really nice. Probably like a 4 or something like that, unless they have creases that we just can't see in a scan. But it's a pretty clean copy, all things considered.
What's your final prediction on the price based off of the last Jackie sales? I know you're more expert in that realm side of things.
I would say, I think it's probably going to go for maybe like 1/3 the price of some of the signed 49 Bowman Jackies that we've seen. I would say probably like 1/3, just due to the fact that it doesn't have a card grade. I think it's a little bit better than that, considering when, my opinion is when you're buying the autograph stuff, the autograph matters a little bit more than the card grade itself. I think it's going to sell for some sort of, smaller percentage of some of those larger 49 Jackie autograph sales. I think that would be a pretty good deal, considering the autograph is nicer than some of the other ones we've seen, that have fetched like $500,000 and stuff like that.
And the sad thing is, like, you could always just get this card graded. I mean, I don't know if PSA would give it a 1 or a 1.5 based off of that. You're not getting a 2, but
yeah,
I think, I don't know, if I was a grader, I'd give that a 1.5. But obviously, I'm not a grader and I don't grade cards. But that's at least my opinion on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at what's up next. So this is a pretty cool one. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, dual sign, original Type 1 photo. Another thing that you've kind of dabbled into a little bit.
Yeah, this to me is I think probably one of the better items in the auction. I mean, it's no secret that there are a lot of signed Babe Ruth items, and even, all things considered, Lou Gehrig does have, a number of items you can get that are signed. Not as many for, obvious reasons, but I've seen some dual sign stuff from these two before and stuff like that. But considering how nice both of those autographs are, I think this is a pretty ridiculous item. I mean, this is something that, if getting into that price range, this is the type of item that I would buy. You're going to see some stuff throughout this auction that is signed by both of them, individually, with not nearly as nice autographs as you see here. I think this thing should go for a decent multiple over some of those other ones. Just due to, I don't think you're going to find a nicer autograph of the two, especially together on an item. This really is I think probably one of the nicest items in this auction.
Yeah, and throw in the bonus too for the original Type 1 photo. I mean, that Ruth auto looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks like Gehrig might be a little bit streaky right over there with the G, but can't fully tell. But the rest of it looks really nice.
Yeah. No, this is by far the nicest auto I saw of either of them, even individually. This is a pretty, like I said, if this was an investment item that was in my range right now, I would hop on this. I just don't think you're going to find nicer autographs for these two.
So let's see what it talks about over here. Dating from the early 1930s, but then the autographs is I guess the photo's 1920, but the auto's 30s. Type 1 authentic, bold, finest we've ever had. Consignor lives in Florida. Man, why couldn't I find this on like a?
I know. You should have gone to his house. Could have picked it up. Right?
I know. Was an avid collector of cameras and photography. Advertisement, a local newspaper that is looking to purchase some antique cameras. Freelance photographer in the St. Pete. Oh, so I wonder if that was like original Al Lang Stadium. So growing up in the Tampa Bay area, that's essentially an area where they had a lot of different minor league teams that played there. I want to say the Reds played there last. Let me check this up. I want to say that's where it was. Let's see. Oh, built in 1947, so it wasn't that. But there's a lot of history with baseball over in the St. Pete area. I do want to see, though, if it was the Reds that played there. Cardinals and Yankees were the first ones. Don't tell me I was wrong. No, it was not the Reds. It was the Cardinals. Oh, well. Either way, I was hoping it was that stadium, but I didn't realize it was built in 1947. Yeah. I mean, a really, really nice piece.
Yeah. I mean, you see it was even written in the Sports Collectors Daily. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is maybe even the best item in this auction. Well,
it says also the glass plate negatives originating from Hull's collection have also been consigned to this auction, include many that feature Ruth and Gehrig from the same time period. So I wonder wonder what other ridiculous items are going to be in here. All right, so next, I think we're going to skip over anything that's not in cardboard, but the Roberto Clemente World Series Championship game worn jersey. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's already at 108,000. I mean, based off of recent jerseys, I have no idea what Clemente stuff goes for. Maybe 300.
Yeah, I didn't even know SGC graded jerseys until I saw that.
I didn't think they graded jerseys either. SGC authentication book. I wonder if it's another SGC. No, it's what?
No, it's
well, yeah, the SGC graded jerseys. Meet the authenticator. I'm literally out of frame right over here. Wow. That's new to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the service on their website. But you get
somebody got a little special deal there.
Interesting. All right. Well, apparently SGC grades jerseys now.
Yeah.
I'm like 99% sure I've seen this card in person. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a
classic old Judge card that a lot of people want to go after.
Yeah.
The mascot. There's a few others out there. There's an old Judge card with a dog. There's one or two of those that are pretty popular. And obviously the one flicking off the camera is pretty funny too.
Yeah.
But the thing with old Judge cards is people care more about the image rather than the actual grade of the card. So like you could have something that has like really great contrast in a 1 and it'll also a 2 or a 3 just because that's what that collector base wants. But I think this presents really nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty clear image, all things considered. I think that's a great 4. And
it's already at 42.87. Actually, what's interesting too is I've been tracking some of the old Judge pricings, and some of them have been going for insane amounts like the last 6 months or so. So it's curious to see if like some of the hobby money is moving backwards now into the 1800 side of things. I know people kind of pivoted towards T206 for a bit. I'm curious if they're finally understanding that 1800 stuff, like old Judges, are much tougher to find than T206s. And I say that blankly, like there are T206 backs, which are much tougher to find than most old Judge cards. Not any, because some old Judges are one of ones, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. The one thing you will have to watch out for on old Judge cards is sometimes you'll find these that are rebacked. Essentially what happened in the past is some collectors would chop off the back of these cards and paste them into albums. If you're not familiar with an old Judge card, they're extremely thick. And if you're going to build an album full of these cards, it's going to get really heavy. So some people will just take off the back of the cards and paste them into albums. But what people started doing is they would take the backs off of unknown actresses or actors, and then they would paste it to the old Judge baseball cards and then make kind of like a Frankenstein type card, but the grading companies will label them as authentic. But it's essentially part of old Judge collecting. My old Judge card, I believe, is rebacked. I only have one of John Clarkson, but I paid, I think, like $400 at a card show for a Hall of Famer. I'll pick that up any day.
Yeah, I have one. I have Charles Comiskey. I bought at the National in 2014. I paid less than $200 for it, which was about, I don't know, it may have been market rate back then. Did pretty well on that one, of course, but that's the only one I've ever purchased.
So let's see. We have an N173, which I do believe these have like 3 or 4 different colors. I remember like writing an article on this a long time ago. I think this is obviously the more common color.
Yeah.
On this one over here. But you could specifically choose who you wanted to redeem on the N173. So some of the bigger names, you're going to find a lot more of their cabinet cards than some of the lesser names. I can't tell you what some of the lesser names go for and different things like that, but this one's already at $300.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Old Judge Collection 9 right now, $887. That's a pretty good deal. Someone ends up pulling it at that price point, but they won't. A 5 and a 4.5. Like, this is what I'm talking about though with a 5 grade. Like, I like that 4 way better. I mean, it just doesn't have the contrast. I think it's kind of a dull looking card.
Yeah.
Like, even though on paper it's a 5, I'm not a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, I think the 4.5 right there is nicer.
Yeah.
Color on that. A little bit
It is.
darker, a little bit easier to see.
Yeah. And all these also were taken at a photography studio, if I remember correctly, as well. Just reading about it. All right, just 2 more comments over there. I like this set quite a bit. I don't own any, but they're striking in person.
Yeah.
Cuts. I own some of the boxers, but the boxers are white cards. They're not black. I kind of wish they were like this. I think they'd go for a lot more too, but
yeah. No, these are great, pre-1900 cards. I don't own any. I've had opportunities to buy them. It's not something that, I really focus on, but I think they, when they get a little bit nicer, they are really stunning when some of the black bordering and stuff like that stays.
yeah, Steven on the channel, he owns a Cap Anson. I think it's an authentic or a 1, and it's a really great card in person.
Yeah.
But he picked that up a few years ago for, I think, $2 or $3 grand. It's actually Cap Anson's last playing day card, I believe. All right, we have an E95 Ty Cobb over there. T206 Walter Johnson portrait. Is there anything special about that? Oh, it's a Piedmont.
Oh, that's chopped up.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if there was a specific back. Didn't mention it on there. Clark Griffith, nothing really special. Blake Keeler, an EPDG, not super rare.
Couple backs, you see those around.
Yeah. What rare back collection is this? I'm just going to open it up. We'll keep going through a little bit of stuff. Sporting News supplement. I saw this on one of my group chats on Twitter. I can't remember if it was the guy that actually consigned it or he just picked up a few from the set.
Yeah, you see a bunch. You got to be careful with some of the pop record stuff around those because there's a lot out there that aren't
slabbed up yet.
Slab just due to the fact that they're not an item that a lot of people slab too often. So I think those are a little bit more common than some of the pop reports make them seem.
I'm just going to populate a few other things really quick over here. That could be a possible bargain right there. We'll take a look at the quality of those. Yeah, let's look at what other stuff. So this is the rare backs. What do they count as rare backs? Old Mill, a little premium there. Polar Bear is not a rare back.
Yeah, Old Mill's are really the only one there.
Let's see. Cycle and American Beauty. I feel like, I don't run the auction house, but they should just made a Polar Bear lot, and they should have made the lot with American Beauty, Cycle, and then
yeah, those are ones. I mean, these are things you can find on
players, though.
eBay.
Huey Jennings is a Hall of Famer, but that's what back was that?
Hal Chase. Hal Chase is as well.
Hal Chase isn't a Hall of Famer. No, he has a lot of T206 portraits. He was actually a really good baseball player, but then he started, I believe from his biography, he started gambling on baseball and things like that, and his career just deteriorated. But he has 5 T206 cards. Let me just look this up on Wikipedia, just double check. Obviously, Wikipedia is not the best source, but
no, you're right. I just looked it up too.
Yeah, so one of the greatest players, I believe, mentioned he was really good, but I can't remember who it was. In 1918, his career in Cincinnati after Chris Mathewson accused him of indifferent playing or betting on baseball and throwing games. Matthews suspended him indefinitely. There you go. Yeah. I didn't know it was Christy Mathewson that did that, but someone marked him as a really good player. I can't remember who it was. Bill James, the baseball statistician.
Yeah.
Not just at first base, any position, even compared to catcher's middle infielder. In historical baseball abstract, Bill James quotes a poem called "You Can't Escape Him." Yeah, a lot of people love Hal Chase, and his cards are kind of priced like a T206 Hall of Famer. I'd say a very low end Hall of Famer, but there's definitely people that go after him. But I think it's 5 different cards in the T206 set that Hal Chase has.
Yeah,
which is interesting. All right, so that's that lot over here. I'm curious who these other ones were over here. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good lot though. If you want to break it up and make a little bit of money off of it, I mean. Right now it's 642, so who knows what it ends up being. But, I mean, people collect those backs. You throw them out at a card show with the backs flipped over like this, which there's a few dealers that do that.
Yeah.
Or people buy it just for the back.
This is one. I used to own a number of orange borders. I don't anymore. I've sold most of them. This is a really nice one here. I mean, they mentioned it's a pop one in PSA. It's definitely not a pop one in SGC, but to have that full border or pretty much full is really awesome. I mean, this is a pretty nice one. I've seen them before. I've seen Christie before without the full border. This is probably the best border I've seen. I'm trying to think if I've seen any better ones. I don't think I have. This is a really nice one here.
Yeah. I think you said everything perfect. I've seen a few of these at the Philly card show before. I think I was Tris Speaker that I saw once, but someone was asking a lot of money for it, which I don't blame them because these are way tougher to find than a T206.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight these because sometimes you'll see these in pretty high grade. For some reason, this set, I've seen quite a lot of like 5s, 6s, and 7s populate around, but had to highlight that too, just for a little bit of knowledge base for people that are watching the video for the first time.
Yeah, I used to have some of these. I don't think they were that high of grade. I've moved on from most of them just due to the fact that these are ones that you can get in a pretty good grade. I don't think mine were very high, so I moved on from them, but I have had some of these before.
This one's actually a pretty tough one, the Brenner's Bread.
Yeah, that's a nice one too. It really is. That white border on it is
it really does look like it's a diamond cut though at the very top.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's definitely
beggars can't be choosers with this type of stuff. I mean, like look how clean that back is too.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's super sweet. And this is an interesting one over here because I mean, you have like Walter Johnson in here, you have Joe Jackson, Cy Young, Ty Cobb, Grover Alexander, Christy Mathewson. I mean, obviously, it depends on the condition on these. Some of those look like they had creases. I mean, there's a crease right there. But this is a good example of a set that you could potentially buy and kind of just sell the individual pieces. You get the bigger names graded if they need to be, which I would assume you'd want to get those graded for liquidity purposes. But even selling off all those commons over time, put them in a bargain bin or throw them on a ComC account, someone might do pretty well on this, but it's hard to tell for sure until like the auction closes, just because you might have someone that pays kind of an extra premium for some of the bigger names.
Yeah, and they're only missing Home Run Baker, as it says down there. Quite honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't. Maybe the auction's selling that one individually, and they just pulled it out of this lot. But I don't know why you wouldn't just buy the Home Run Baker and finish it off. I mean, it's to my knowledge not the most expensive one, so I don't know why you wouldn't just finish it off and have the whole set.
What Wagner or Jackson do you think would be more expensive? I'm not up to date.
Yeah, I do have the Joe Jackson. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I definitely bought it 10 plus years ago, but just due to the names, I mean, Frank Baker is definitely not up there with the other ones.
No. We have some 8s over here. I'm always kind of iffy on Cracker Jacks that are like 7s and 8s, just because from what I've heard talking to dealers, again, this isn't fact, but a lot of these very high grade ones have been washed. I mean, 1915, I'm talking about like 1914, not 1915. 14s were actually with the Cracker Jacks. 1915s, you could sometimes get the full album. So that's why you'll get higher grades. Should have clarified that before even recognizing the date. But that is something to watch out for in those 14s. Just commons here, but still getting into 8s, pretty impressive. Let's see, a Collins and McCarthy. Those are pretty tough. I want to get the Hornsby in there, but I would assume it's now a $20,000 card. It's a little bit out
good luck.
A little bit out of budget. Zach Weed over here. I assume this is a little bit of a rarer back. Gimbals. I used to have a PDF that talked about all the different backs and like the scarcity associated with them. No idea where that PDF is anymore. But when I started learning about these,
yeah, I definitely don't have any of these. This isn't one that I usually collect. There's not too many names in there that I would be into.
I mean, you'd want the Ruth.
Well, yeah, if I sold everything and took 4 jobs or something like that, sure, I'll do whatever you need.
Speaking of Ruth, this seems pretty cheap so far. A W560 collection with Babe Ruth. So we have the Jimmy Fox here. Jimmy Fox is actually a bit of a premium piece. This is one of his first cards. So usually Fox you can sell anywhere from like $200 to $400. Doesn't look too bad. I don't know what the back looks like. Walter Johnson, little cut, but I've sold this Walter Johnson, I want to say a few years ago for like close to $200. Then you have this Ruth, which I assume is close to $1,000. Oh, look at these backs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Albums.
Yep. I'm curious who else is in here though. If they're gonna show. All right, we have a Lefty Grove, which is still a bigger name. Hoyt, Hall of Famer. Is that Herb Pennick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why these are upside down? Dazzy Vance, another Hall of Famer. Paul Wayner, Hall of Famer. Henry Johnson, not a Hall of Famer. And who's else? I still think this is a good buy right now at its current price. Like even just selling off all these commons, I'd assume you could sell the commons even at like what, $10, $10 to $20 a piece over time. Throwing a bargain bin. You have 290 there. I mean, you have 6 Hall of Famers here, then the 3 there. So you have 20 commons at 10 each. So that takes off $200 off of your bill, and then you're already at $577 for the rest. I think this is a really good buy right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could buy them, sell the rest, keep the Ruth. That's what I would do. I wouldn't really, be interested in the rest of them outside of the Ruth. It's not one that I own, and the Ruth does come up. But if you wanted to kind of buy it and chop into what you paid, you could sell the rest of them and move on from there.
Yeah, no doubt. Exhibit 4 and 1s. Those look like they're trimmed.
Yeah,
across the board. Yeah, that's what they are. I mean, someone's paying a lot of money for that, though. I don't even think any grading companies grade them trimmed. Maybe CGC now. Sometimes they grade some things like that, but uncut sheet. That's pretty cool. We'll populate that. Let's see if there's anything else you want to populate. If you see anything, just let me know.
Yeah, exhibits. You see those
all the time.
Blue ribbon. I've seen that blue. I actually bid on that blue ribbon before.
I've seen that quite a bit. Oh, the Rogers Hornsby.
Yeah, nice. You see those around. I actually used to own that that Sanella Ruth.
I owned one as well. I bought my Sanella Ruth at like $200. That's funny enough. Like it was on like a Facebook marketplace.
I had a 5. I bought at the National, probably like 2015, 2016 time. I've sold it since, but I did used to own one of those. They come up.
Yeah, I mean, they're extremely common in Germany. I used to have someone in Germany sell me, I think, 4 or 5 of these also. Just get them graded. I mean, they would come right out of the album, get graded a 1.5 or a 2, and then both made a little bit of money off that side of things, because I can't imagine it costs a lot over. But there are 3 types of the Sanella Ruth. I can't remember what the specific backs are. Type 2 is very common. I can't remember type 1 or type 3. That's a little bit rare. Maybe if it was a type 1 or type 3, it's worth keeping, but type 2, you'll find another. I've seen one of these at a show before.
I've seen these. I don't know if I've seen one this extensive. This one's definitely got a bunch.
Yeah, the one I like on here though is look who they have. They have Walter Hagen right there. That's one of his first pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hagen alone, if you get this in a 6 or a 7, I do have this in a 7 and a 6. They're like $400 to $500 a piece.
Yeah,
so I'm not saying to buy this to cut it. I'm not saying that, but I'm just
saying don't. Whoever buys it, actually, please don't cut it. It looks way better like this. There's a Bill Tilden down there in the corner. By the way.
I saw that right there. And so you also have Johnny Weissmuller. I have that in a 9, and then there's the Ruth over here. You have Frankie Frisch, Hornsby, Vance. So you have some pretty big names already at the very top. I'm not too familiar with these actresses, to be honest. Those photos are not the best looking. Some of these names.
I don't think I know anybody else on there.
That Fairbanks looks hideous. Jesus.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Sorry, buddy.
Who are the boxers down here? Leonard's a big name. Carpenter. He was actually an actor as well as a boxer. Pretty big name in Europe, but not for U.S. side of things. It's a pretty cool sheet. But $25.93, which seems kind of cheap. I mean, I don't know what the Ruth does. What, like an authentic is $1,000 to $2,000 on that Ruth? Then you have that Hagen there in the middle. I mean, obviously we still have a few days for this, but
yeah, I'll be curious to see where something like that ends up, just due to the fact that, comping it and pricing it is probably not the easiest thing in the world. I'll be kind of interested to see what that one does.
Let's see if there's anything else over here. Oh, I'm going to add the Worldwide Gum just because people might not be too familiar with it. Curious what's in that Gaudi. If you see anything else, just let me know.
We got 4-1.
Actually, I've never seen this one before, this DiMaggio.
We got DiMaggio. We got
See,
38s. Those are common.
yeah.
Got some play balls. Ford Motor.
I haven't seen that Ford motor.
Indian exhibit.
Add that on. Ooh, this Tolateros. I'm gonna add that one.
Yeah, then we're starting to get into some post-war down here.
Yeah, Robin Roberts. That's kind of up your alley with the sign.
Yeah, it's a nice auto.
One over here. So this is best of the best. I'm making Mantle 3. I still think these mantles are so overpriced. I think there's something. I mean, not the crash, but I do think they're going to have a price decline at some point.
I think they're definitely, considering how much they were printed. It just really depends on what you think that market should sit at in terms of like total market for those. They've definitely gone up quite a bit. It'll be interesting to kind of see, and they've actually like recently had some price issues with some of the higher end ones. But they are something that you can find out there.
We got a lot of your Mantle autos. I'll go through here first. DeLong, Lou Gehrig. I believe, if I remember correctly, the person who built this set originally worked for the Gaudi Gum Company. So, like, there was a good chance this could have been another year of Gaudi's, which is kind of a shame because Gaudi went so far downhill with their later releases.
Yeah,
but I love
awesome. These are a great image. They really are. I think they are one of the better looking 30s cards, maybe even the best. I love those images.
Yeah, they're really good there. 10,000 already.
Yeah,
I don't know what the gear goes, but much rather have that than a Gaudi. Worldwide Gum. So the reason why I brought this up is these essentially were Gaudis that were produced over in Canada. I can't remember though. I think they had 33 and 34, but like 34 is weird because there's some 33 designs in that set, but also 34 designs in that set. But the worldwide gums are much tougher to find than the Gaudis, but they go for cheaper than the Gaudis just because they're a Canadian release. Our hobby is really weird with scarcity and what they actually value. But if I was going to own between a Gaudi and a worldwide gum, I'd rather have the worldwide gum in my collection, but that's just my own personal opinion on that. And how you can tell is this right over here. It says worldwide gum right over here, printed in Canada. They actually have other worldwide gum releases with Gaudi too. Someone may be familiar with the Pirates set. It has a Blackbeard in there, pretty iconic. But the same exact thing. You'll see some worldwide gums printed in Montreal. Actually, those I believe have a French back. Don't know what the premium is on like the Blackbeard. I haven't seen it recently, but just something to call out for education purposes. All right, Gaudi baseball collection with Hall of Famers. We're at $640 right now. So after buyer's premium, which I assume probably about 20%, you're looking $20 a card. All right, we have Al Simmons there, Hall of Famer, Bottomley, Hall of Famer, Frisch, Cronin, Grimes, Faber, and you have a Hornsby there. So Combs isn't a Hall of Famer, I don't believe, but you have 7 Hall of Famers on that first page. Having that Hornsby there is pretty interesting. Let's populate the backs. I mean, I see a big crease there, so it's a 1.5 on the Hornsby, but still, it's what, $300-$400? I would think. It's not his most desirable Gaudi. Pretty cheap so far for that lot. How do the commons look?
They should look a little nicer.
Well, like,
the lighting's weird.
These are great bargain bin cards. Once again, talking about bargain bins, but like people will go to your show and want to buy a 33 Gaudi or like a T206 for their first pre-war card. You have some cheap commons in there. Someone will buy that card. Same with like throwing it on a ComC store. They eventually sell out there, but not as liquid as just someone walking around a show and just seeing that.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know anything about this. Do you know anything about this postcard?
I don't know. I've never seen it. The postcard stuff in the 30s is a little bit weird. It's not something I know too much about, but no, I've never seen this specific one. I think I've seen the image, but not this specific postcard.
It doesn't even say anything about it specifically down there. I mean, talks about being in Ohio there, but this is what
I think that's his outfielder. Pull it up again. I think somebody marked it outfielder. It would have been completely unmarked.
Yeah, and there's tape on there. This is, I think, a real photo postcard. Could be the only image of it, but I just don't know. Because I do have some real photo postcards. And they tend to be pretty rare to find. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't mark it if it's a real photo postcard. Either way, was it $531?
It's not bad.
No, it's not, especially for Larry DiMaggio. Ford Motor Company Legion promo Babe Ruth. I have never seen that before, but that slab is huge.
Yeah, I've seen these before. I would say they're common. I mean, they're a later Ruth item, so people definitely got their hands on them. I like the bigger Ruth stuff. I think it's a little bit nicer. I do have a couple bigger Ruth items. I don't own this one specifically, but whoever buys this, I think you'll actually get a pretty good price on it, considering they're not the most popular. But if bigger items, and then of course Ruth is something that you want, this is a pretty good one.
It's a good looking one too. Why is it a 1? The premium has been graded as SGC 1.
Yeah, you can see
scattered light wrinkles.
Yeah, they're hard to on these bigger ones. The same with my my bigger Ruth. Sometimes the wrinkles and creases are hard to pick up in an image. Mine has a bunch. If I showed you a picture of it, it's pretty hard to pick up in a photo with some of these bigger ones.
And you can see the writing over here too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see who's in this lot. Titello Vargas. Actually, I have his what's that set name? It's from like 1933. It's out of Venezuela, and it's is it a double Aguila? I think I have his double Aguila. I think that's what the set name is. I think I could be wrong, but I believe he hit over 400 in his season too, and that's kind of why he's a bigger name. Who else is in here? Titello Vargas again in a 7. That's a really good grade. Yeah. Piper Davis sounds super familiar as well to me. This is pretty cheap for these cards right now, but these are pretty tough to find, especially in those high grades. But obviously, multi-year release, you can see the colored ones versus black and white over there. Set's known for the Josh Gibson rookie card.
Yeah, I was going to say that of course they would have marked it, but that's the big dog.
Oh yeah, that would be on its own. That's I would. There's one that just went to auction. We'll cover it in another episode of this, but an easy 6-figure card. All right, back to kind of your bread and butter over here. This Robin Roberts. That's a big mistake not getting this numeric grade on that.
It's always a head scratcher for me when somebody doesn't want it. I mean, at this point, why you wouldn't doesn't make sense, especially on a card like this where I don't know, what do you have to pay an extra like $10 to PSA to have them number grade it? I mean, why would you not? I don't know what this would grade. It would be a little bit lower, but I think eye appeal for that grade would be pretty nice considering the centering is good. The auto is clean, but that I don't know why. Maybe they did and it came back like trimmed or something. But if they really did just pass on getting it from a value perspective, I literally don't know why you would do that.
I still like that Jackie auto better. I'd rather have that in a 9 than this 10.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe just I don't know, something about this auto just doesn't catch it for me. I can't tell though if this is like a big crease or if that's just like a small wrinkle or what that is.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's one of those things hard to pick up on a photo. I think it might be a crease, a light one. See if they. Yeah, it says it down there.
Yeah. Still though, head scratcher. I wanted to point this out too. Like, look at the difference already between the picture quality with the kind of like the snow printing on this. I know it's a 2 versus 3, but you're already talking 3x.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous 3. That one's going to outsell
the comps.
A lot of them. A lot of other 3s. I mean, that's a really nice 3.
Yeah, I think that it got a 3 because of that corner there.
I mean, yeah, the coloring on that is
really good.
Awesome.
And like a super clean back as well. Yeah. I just wanted to point those out because not the same centering, but they're kind of close, just looking side by side. Like you can see that there's a big top area over here on each of those and little at the bottom, but a 3X on there. Here's another one for you. 1952 Johnny Sane.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of, I don't know how much this one would sell different than an auto that's in an 8 or, like an auto 8 or something like that. But you just kind of have to take that into account. You know, you can sit there and say, yeah, it's signed, but this is clearly not as nice of an autograph as some of the other ones that I'm sure you could get for Johnny Same. It's just something when you sit there and look at, you know, the value perspective, what you want to pay for, you know, selling down the road or something like that. You got to look at the autograph here, and you can't just blindly say it's signed. You know, they're all the same. This is one that is clearly going to be different from some of the other, you know, Johnny Saint autographs for this card that I'm sure exist.
The only thing that adds a ton of value to it, check out the back.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a black back. Yeah, definitely.
Well, no. Look, it's the page. So they had two different players that had their backs swapped. Page and Sane.
Yeah.
So this is the error version. So I don't know how many error versions there are signed, but it would be kind of cool if they had both of them sign the same card, like one on the back, one on the front. That would be a really cool piece.
Yeah. You see that you see them occasionally, not for this one specifically, but sometimes you'll see ones where people got them signed on the back as well. I don't know what the logic was behind doing that, but I do like those when, you know, double autograph stuff and things like that.
Yeah. So let's look at these mantles now, which there definitely seems like there's been such an influx of mantle autographs hitting the market. Let's populate those. I don't really see. I'm not going to add on that mantle. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on this first page. 55.
There was a Koufax that was dated. I saw that earlier. If you scroll up a little bit,
it's this one right here.
Dated 56.
Signed 1956. Good catch. All right, first this 53 mantle.
Yeah, I mean I
think it's a generous
auto. You know, it's a pretty nice auto. Mantle autographs, in my opinion, are definitely overvalued a bit. I mean, he signed a lot of stuff. You know, I know that there was some sort of catching up from where autographs were definitely undervalued to now, so the price growth wasn't surprising. But you know, the actual attribute itself of the autograph, you know, take away the card or take away the combination of the card and the autograph, Mantle signed a lot of stuff, and so I think that, you know, maybe the price will keep going up for these, but it's not something that I would bet on. Now, if you find examples where you really feel like the autograph for some reason is either really nice or has some sort of significance or something like that, you know, absolutely, that's a great buy. But you know, these have gone up astronomically compared to where they were, you know, even 2 years ago. So it's something that, you know, I would definitely proceed with caution, depending on where it ends up. I mean, you know, this could end up much less or right at sort of the market rate for it, but it's always something to look at.
I know it's a 1.5 probably because of the staining, but it looks pretty nice for a 1.5 for 53. I mean, I've seen 3s and 4s that look much worse with these colored borders.
Yeah, and I actually these autographs that aren't sort of the bright blue Sharpie are ones that I actually prefer. So it's definitely like an autograph where if I wanted to buy something like this, I like the autographs that aren't that really bright colored, you know, it's kind of,
it blends in more with the card.
Sharpie. I know people like it because the autograph stays a little bit longer. I don't like it. I think it looks kind of goofy on some cards, but this is one that I do actually like the autograph that they had there.
This is the exact
literally a perfect example of where I was going. This was signed,
right?
I'm sure, at a show in, you know, the 80s, early 90s. I mean, it's, you know, there's people that like it, and you have a better chance of this autograph staying in good condition than you do some of the other ones. I don't think it looks to me very much like, here's something from one era, here's something from a much later era that isn't relevant to the actual playing days. I know that's a little nitpicky, but you know, it's just personal preference.
And transition to playing days.
Yeah,
these transitions have been perfect, by the way.
And you can see what I kind of mean, where these autographs aren't going to stay as good of shape over time, you know, just due to it being a ballpoint or something like that. You know, I prefer an autograph like this. I think that it matches the card a little bit more. I do know it's going to fade, and so that's something that you have to take into account. You know, this one they say it's you know, right around 1956.
How could they not grade this card? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, This looks great.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Look how nice it looks.
I don't know why anybody goes with the trading card grade. I mean, other than, do they not want to spend the extra $20 or whatever it is? I don't get it. Maybe they have some reason that I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
If it's a 1956 auto, it's not a reprinted card either.
Yeah, I mean, it's and you would get a pretty decent grade on this. I mean, you probably would. This is an expensive card. I mean, this is a card where like there's a lot of money behind this. Why you wouldn't get some sort of number grade?
I mean, Koufax charges what, $2,000 alone to get his rookie card graded. Something like
that was what he charged at some of those private signings. So I mean, it's you're gonna pay that, and then you got to pay for the card as well. Why you wouldn't do that? I mean, you could come into this auction, buy this, crack it out, and just resub it with auto grade and card grade. Maybe you wouldn't do auto grade. Maybe
I don't even think you have to crack it. I think you could just send it straight to PSA and say
it.
Yeah.
Why you wouldn't do that? I don't know. I mean, that
seems like a no-brainer
to me.
I'll be curious to see though if people catch on with this and it goes for a pretty penny, or if it kind of slips under the radar being called a trading card with this one. Big mistake though. Big mistake. Let's keep going through some of this stuff. 756 Mantle, Grayback. Bob Feller autograph. We'll add that one. Is that a Maris autograph? That is a Maris autograph. See, yeah, his rookie. I've seen a lot of those signed. McCovey.
Yeah, I mean, he's still alive. So, you can get your stuff signed if you need to.
Oh, I'm curious what that is. The Tacoma Giants. We're going to add that one over there. Gabby Hartnett signed. Jimmy Fox signed. But they're the 61 flavors.
Yeah, you actually see those, especially for the guys that lived a little bit longer.
There's a ton of fellers.
Yeah. Well, he
signed everything.
He would sign anything, man. He would sign anything. That dude, I've bought autos from him that cost less than dinner. I mean, he signed everything.
All right. Bob Gibson, I almost called him Bob Feller. That'd been funny. But a 4 and a 8. I think that 4 grade was generous, but I hate that placement of the autograph.
Yeah, pretty junky placement. It's probably a pretty old autograph. I mean,
you can tell the aging on it.
Yeah, I don't actually mind the 4 grade. I think the corners aren't awful. The centering is, of course,
the centering is atrocious. I don't know.
We could have given this like a 5 miscut or 5 OC, and I would have been fine with it. But I think an autograph grade of an 8 on this might be slightly generous. I mean, this to me looks a little bit more. We'd have to zoom in really far to kind of know.
That's as far as I can zoom in.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I maybe would have gone with a 7, but I don't mind the 8. It might be a little bit overgraded, but nice item. I don't know the pop on this card, but it's going to go for a good amount. I mean, Gibson's rookie alone sells for a good amount, so I think this thing's going to go.
It's at $399 right now.
Yeah.
Roger Maris, 1959, also way better centering.
Yeah, the color of the signature pops a little bit better on this one.
Although kind of blends in right there with his.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they did this one in blue, because a black signature would not have been great on that.
Unless they put the black signature like right underneath that signature.
Yeah, if they put on the orange, it would have been okay.
All right, and let's see the next one. Next autograph. Oh, it's not autograph. I didn't know Juan Marichal had another pre-1961 rookie. I know he had it was a Venezuela tattoo card that someone discovered a while back and now been graded. I didn't know he had a Tacoma Giants over here. That's new to me.
No.
And I believe Marichal's still alive, so you could technically get that signed. But $300 seems kind of cheap for that. It has to be a pretty rare card. Let's see what the specs look like.
Yeah, this would be a great one to break out.
I like
he signed, I believe, at the National last year or around that time.
Dude,
this would be a great one to do it.
Blue pen autograph, like right over there.
Yeah.
Oh, look great. All right, let's go to the next page. Nothing really special. These 1969s, 71s, 85 is pretty good grade. We'll maybe add that up over here. High grade collection, high number collection. I mean, the outsigns a lot, unless that's like a very high grade. I mean, it's a auto 8 or is a card grade 8.
What's your thoughts on buying that lot of Eckersley rookies up there? 81 of them.
Wait, there's 81.
Oh, scroll down. You're right over it.
I missed it.
Keep going. It's right below that.
Oh, I see it right here. Oh, what's the COMC price right now on those?
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Well, look at this. You have 8 of those too, but I mean, you're already paying $50 a pop. That's not even worth it. I mean, I guarantee someone. Actually, you know what I like even better? Look at that. I'll load that up in a second. Ooh, I know people are going to be bidding on this one. I'll add that too. There's like 3 big memorabilia guys on Twitter. They love the bat barrels. They're going to definitely be going after that one. Yeah, we'll stop over here. This DiMaggio. Say that as I keep scrolling. We're into basketball. All right. 8-5-71 Clemente.
Looks crisp to me, man. I mean,
and it's a new label, new cert too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful card. I would love to know where that one was sitting to stay like that. That's just a great card.
And it's probably nicer than probably a 9 for old label too.
Yeah. It's gonna go for a bunch. That's a really nice copy.
All right,
there you go. This is what are we at per card right now?
Let me load up on COMC right now. What do you think? What's your prediction on what the base Eckersley sells for?
I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know, $10.
All right, I'm loading this up right over here.
I've never bought a raw Eckersley. If I had to guess, though, if I saw it for $10 at a show, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe on COMC it's a little bit more, but
actually, 3, 2, 1. $7 for the lowest, but this is what the lowest looks like right now. I'm just talking about normal grades. Like this, by the way, like most of the time you get bucketed based off of conditions. So you have like raw, poor to fair, good to VG. This should not be under like the normals. This should be under the good to poor. Like just based off of
it's so miscut. Look at that.
And like look at the edge where there. Like this needs to get rebucketed. This is 972. Same thing, like not as bad. I don't think it belongs in this A group. Same with that one over here, 974. So your $10 is like pretty spot on because you have 1040 there, $11. So you could probably sell, like you could probably price these at like $10, but you have so many. 471 times in the last 4 years. So it's a pretty good liquid card. And plus some of these you could probably grade. We don't know. I mean, you'd have to really analyze these. I mean, some of them will look pretty clean.
Right now, it's at like what?
Oh, here you go. Look, 5% near mint, 20% X, 45X, 30 VG.
483.
I mean, you're at $5 a card right now.
$6, about $6 a card.
I mean, there's some money to be made there, but you got to remember each card that you add on to COMC is 50 cents plus selling fees. So you're already going to add another $40 in fees plus buyer premium here.
I would love to know what the buyer's intent is with this. I mean,
maybe get all those signed.
It's got to be selling related. I don't know why you're buying 81 Eckersley rookies for just fun, especially when none of the copies there look, you know, they're nice, but they're not. You know, it's a late 70s card. It's not like it's you know, crazy.
I mean, though, if you're a dealer, though, you price them at $10 to $15 a piece for for like mid-grade copies. Nicer ones, maybe $20. There's money to be made.
Yeah, people at the shows, they'll buy them walking by.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Especially the shows, if you know Eckersley's signing at, you just put a big stack of those on your showcase.
Yeah.
People walking. I think that's the move. Like, see if he signs at a Chantilly or a Philly or like a national, just buy them all, place them, like wait for that.
Yeah, I wonder if he signs through the mail.
All right, this is what I was curious about. This is 861 right now. But we have a Joe Jackson relic, which is like $100 there. You have a Hack Wilson Hartnett $100 alone, maybe more. number to 5. Bat Hornsby. I actually have that quad Millot in my collection. Bat Cobb, Bat Hornsby. Who else is in here? I mean, this is a pretty sick collection. Kaline Greenberg, who's in that one? Archie, Chuck Klein, Joe Cronin, Hank Aaron Triple, Shoeless Joe Jackson again. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't checked the Jackson prices in forever, but Hornsby again. Who's that right there?
I don't know who that is.
Satchel Paige. Oh, and it has a little bit. That's probably a pretty sneaky card. Satchel Paige stuff has gone up a lot. Sisler, who's that quad of? Is that Aaron? Yeah, Aaron. I mean, there's some good stuff in here. I was surprised it's buried a little bit farther back. Hannes Wagner, like I'd probably put that on like the second page. I'd probably put the Hornsby stuff or like the Ott a little bit later, just because Wagner's a bigger name. Hack Wilson. Medwick, yeah. Jackson, Pete Rose. Like I feel like that should have been on the first page.
That's an interesting card right there. I kind of like that one.
Yeah, right? I feel like that should have been on the first page though. Like when you look into this slide, like not on the very last page at the bottom right.
That's an interesting one. I actually kind of like that. I kind of want that one.
And what's that one numbered to? Does it say? Number to 25. Okay. So either way, $861. It seems like very cheap for that lot so far, even just breaking it up. This is the one I know a lot of people are going to go after. Willie Mays, Bat Barrel, plus also Cert Auto.
Yeah.
Ooh. Some of the Bat Barrel collectors, they spend some money on this type of stuff. I couldn't even tell you what a Willie Mays would go for, but I'm sure I'm
it's already up to $2,000, so people are buying it.
Oh man, some of these guys on Twitter who have the most insane collections of Bat Barrels and like Bat Knobs. You would be shocked, like crazy stuff. Ruth Gehrig, that type of things. DiMaggio Mantle. Only way I'm talking this because it has dual pinstripes, and you do get a little bit of a premium on the pinstripe side of things. But having both together, and plus it's an early relic, 2001.
Yeah,
there's like a divide. I think it's like 2008 when they started putting those iffy relic cards. So this is still when they actually use legitimate game use stuff. So you'll see a nice little premium on that card. All right, basketball time, minus like this superstar insert collection with rarities. Actually, I'm curious what's in there. And then we'll go into the basketball. What's the rarities? Is that a gold refractor, CC? Jeter, Frank Robinson, Pristine, Griffey over there. CC. I'm curious. Oh, yeah, it's a gold refractor there. Frank Robinson. Oh, another CC to number to 100. Those are probably some big cards.
Looks like, who's that, A-Rod?
Yeah, A-Rod number to 5,000, but then you have this Ripken number to 10 early. What year is that? 1999. That's probably some good money right there. Another number to 175 A-Rod. So some pretty good stuff there. I'm just not, it's outside my wheelhouse. So
yeah, it's not something I would have a clue what you're supposed to pay.
All right, let's look at some of this basketball. This is way outside my realm. I know you know way more about basketball than I do, but it doesn't really look like any vintage stuff. Kobe's,
yeah. This isn't basketball stuff I would know a thing about unless you see any Jordan autos. That'd be about it.
Yeah, scoreboard, Kobe. No. And they have baseball cards again in the middle of this basketball lot. That was a misplacement. We'll keep going through. Nope. Hall of Fame, basketball Hall of Famers. So I'll add that one. Kareem and Shaq, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got in here?
Now we're on the football side of things. I do know. I mean, I'm not an expert. I know essential credentials are expensive. Barry Sanders is very collectible. That's already $3,000. Pop
one. Chantilly. You could buy that and have it in hand if you wanted.
We got some golf. All right, let's take a look at this. Any We have David Robinson, Bobby Knight, Shaq, Magic, Kidd, Carter, Hardaway,
Kid. These are guys that they sign a ton. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't go for too much.
Yeah. $400 already though. $50 a card.
Yeah.
And then Shaq and Kareem dual autograph. I can't tell if that's a sticker or on card. It looks like a sticker.
I think it's a sticker. I think you can see the line.
Well, actually, no. Look at the Shaq.
Oh, yeah. No.
That design does not good.
Because I'm pretty sure that's a sticker. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. To me, it looks. I mean,
it looks like it, right? Like, look at the placement. Is that? I wonder if it's one someone wiped and then got him to re-sign it later.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't. Because I thought that was clear as day a sticker.
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
Hard as hell. All right, let's keep going through some of this. Some golf autographs. I'm trying to see if there's any bigger names. Oh,
you're getting to the stuff.
Here's your stuff. Let's add some of these up over here. Oh, we have a lot of autographs this time.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I knew you had a lot coming here. I knew this was going.
Do you want to load them all up, or is there select ones? I guess we start off with this Carl Braun.
Yeah, and that's one that I'm definitely gonna have a bunch of opinions on. 48 Bowman signed are, they're rare. I mean, there's I think PSA is a pop of less than 40 of total signed ones. Carl Braun, Hall of Famer, of course. The autograph is fine with stuff like this. You're not going to get much better than that. When you talk about 48 Bowmans, this item's going to go for a lot. I mean, this is something that just due to the community that I'm a part of and people that I know, this is a big item. This is one that checks a lot of boxes when you look at investment value of player, set, and then attributes. You usually want two of those at least to be on the higher end. If you can get all three of them at the higher end, then that's good. Of course, Carl Braun's a Hall of Famer. 48 Bowman, probably one of the more popular basketball sets, probably in the top, probably top 5 of basketball sets. And then, of course, it's signed. So there's your attribute there. I think this is a pop 1. Yeah, only known example. This thing's going to go for some money. This is going to be one that a lot of people are jumping on.
Bill Russell signed. I'm curious what the Russell market has been since he passed away, but this autograph is very bad.
Yeah, it's not a great one. Russell is one that you could get stuff signed. There's a good amount of Russell autographs out there. I think cards like this blew up during kind of the autograph basketball boom, and then of course he kind of died right at that same time. I bet you if you looked, this stuff has come down dramatically. It's still going to go for a lot because it's definitely a top 3 basketball set. It's Bill Russell. It's signed. It's a nice one too. It's a pretty nice copy.
I was going to say, I wonder how much of that value right now is getting towards that 5 grade. I know it's a BGS, and people are kind of
yeah. Vintage. I mean, it's a nice copy. This is just a really nice copy. I'll be curious to see where this goes compared to some of the other comps for it. If you can get this at a price where you're paying closer to more like a PSA 2 or 3 with an auto, that would be a really great buy.
Oh, it says it was a 1957 autograph too. It's around that age based off of the dating of the autograph. So, all right. Good to talk about this or skip.
Yeah, no, we could talk about it a little bit. I mean, nice card. The people on Instagram that love the 57 set are going to be probably chopping this up. It's the highest graded. I actually think I know the person who had this. So I think I've been offered it before. I didn't love the autograph, so I didn't buy it. But nice card, not a bad autograph. but not my favorite. And Bob Pettit's not a guy that I am falling over to buy. Shea's, I think the autograph's a little bit generous with an 8. I don't really love the coloring there. This is probably a similarly dated 57, like for the autograph. I don't know if they mentioned the date.
There is a 7/12/1957 inscription, meaning he signed the card in 1957 right here.
Yeah, that's definitely going to add some value to it. That's something that would add value to it to me as well. It's probably going to go pretty well here. This one dated as well?
No, it's not.
No. Another high grade one there. It'll do pretty well. I don't know anything about Willie. I don't know anything about.
All right. Anything else that you see over here? Just let me know.
Scroll down. Let me just make sure. Some of these are just pretty standard. Slater, Martin, Ed McCauley.
Oh, 9.5 Michael Jordan there.
Is there any signed Jordan stuff too?
9.5
signed Jordan. Oh, there's some down there. We can talk to it. Is there anything above you want to chat about?
Not really. I mean, someone will say 9.5, but like that has zero interest to me.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the signed Jordan.
Yeah, we'll add that there. Let's keep going through if there's anything else. LeBron. Is this? Oh, by the way, real quick, is it still saying I'm recording? I just want to. I'm curious about the storage.
Yeah, it does. Anything?
This is outside of my room. Like I don't collect any basketball.
Give me a second. They're gonna.
Let's keep it going. So, I don't see anything else over here so far. This George Connor in an 8. It's already $861, but I'm not too familiar with them.
No, you can buy that on eBay.
Just interesting lot. Star, Unitas, Horning. 3 rookies there for that set. It's $1,000. Well, look at the grade though. It's a star 6. That seems cheap right now, but obviously the auction's those 5 days.
Yeah.
Joe Montana. I feel like you could get so many of those 81
signs.
That's a nice grade. 8.5 on the Walter Payton. Tom Brady signed. Whatever. Mahomes is going to sign a ton at shows eventually.
Yeah.
A cup over here, 1 of 1.
You know anything about hockey? I don't know a thing.
I know a little bit of pre-war hockey, but
we're getting down to the.
Let's load up this one real quick. The Michael Jordan, which they generously once again named it a trading card.
Yeah, I mean maybe this is one that they. I don't know. They didn't think it could get a grade. It's a nice autograph. One of the more faked autographs, out there. This one looks to me, as someone that owns a couple of them, looks really good. I don't know the era exactly on this. Probably, well, it had to be, of course, before, the Upper Deck deal. So early 90s ish. It looks like mine was signed early 90s. It looks good. I really like the black on this. This is one that I'm actually looking at for some of those reasons. This is one that's definitely on my radar.
And then this is not only the first signed example of this card we've offered, but the first we've ever seen. Tiny bit of wear on the reverse upper right corner, otherwise near mint. So it's probably like a 7 or an 8. That's why.
Yeah.
All right, let's see these hockey relics over here. Are these all Leaf as well too? I toured the Leaf factory, so I saw how they kind of put together these packs. They were saying they didn't have a lot of the relics left of some of the older guys. Moren's really big name. He has a 1933 Sports Cakes. He has earlier stuff too, but if you're not too familiar with hockey, that's probably a good way to start. The Rocket, Maurice Richard, very big name as well, early 1950s. Not too familiar with this guy over here. Legendary career 1922 through 38. Don't know all the players. It's not my wheelhouse, but let's see who else is over here. I know this guy right here. I know Doug Harvey. I've seen some of his stuff. Eddie Shore. I have his Sports King in a 7. I'm not too familiar with Frank. There's a guy again too. It must be a big name that I don't recognize. Don't recognize those two. Don't recognize him. Rocket. Know him. There's that guy again. I'm curious who he is. I I don't know why I don't recognize his name, but there's some pretty big cards here. $275. I mean, I think that's cheaper than one of their boxes right now. And these are these are case hits. Some of these over here. So I think there's definitely some value there.
Yeah, those are cool. I mean, they were all pretty low numbers. It says they're multiple 1-of-1s. Those are all pretty nice.
All right, now this is my wheelhouse over here, boxing. So let's go through this. If there's anything cool.
Hey, you remember I told you there was a Jack Johnson I saw at the show. We couldn't think of the number. That was it. That one right there.
Which one was it?
The one you opened. It's in that lot.
All right, we'll take a look at this. All right, so 19th century cabinet cards. So let's use in here, over here. So this is Jack Dempsey. Most people get Jack Dempsey's mixed up. There's the Jack Dempsey from the 1800s, and there's the Jack Dempsey from the 1920s. So don't mistake them. Now, the 1800s Jack Dempsey, very good boxer. He's a Hall of Famer as well. Pretty big name for the era, but people spend Jack Dempsey 1920s money on that Jack Dempsey. The 20s, his first cards around like 1918, 19, early 20s. But yeah, different boxer. Who else is in here? Jem Smith, bigger name too. I'm horrible with cursive. I was curious if any of the black boxers were in here, but no. Oh, here's the names here. Dempsey, yeah. Oh, I thought it was Jem Smith, but it's Billy Smith. So really, Dempsey is your only big name in that group. I'm sure they're pretty rare, and there's some boxing collectors that are probably gravitating over these. I haven't seen these before. So you're talking about this one right over here?
Yep. Yeah, that was the one I saw.
Was it a Mecca back or was it a different back? Because there's some that look very similar to that are like a minor back and way tougher to find.
Yeah, I didn't flip it over. It wasn't something I was buying.
Yeah, so like I would consider this kind of like the 33 Gaudi of Jack Johnson cards. Like it's a nice looking card, but it's not rare. Like there's way more rare stuff that I would personally gravitate towards. I don't really like the 33 Gaudis of like Ruth and Garrick, which sounds controversial, but they have so many better cards that are scarcer, at least in my personal opinion. Yeah, it's not too bad there. 712. I mean, that's probably about a $250 card right now, each of those.
Yeah. 500.
Then you have Sam Langford, who's just as good as a boxer as Jack Johnson, but sells for like a third of his prices. That's a 5. That's over there. Sanella, and then the Joe Louis exhibit. Yeah, nothing too special. This was interesting. Miss Hall of Fame lot. So they have a feller there.
Wide pen.
Why do they put all these together?
Ooh. I know. Look at that. They even have a Cons Jim Brown up there.
That sounds so stupid. Like, why would you put all these together?
Yeah, I would love to know where this lot goes relative to their individual value because people buy it and don't want all those different things.
And is that
RTJ in there?
It's a Bobby Jones too.
Yeah, I know. It's a super random lot. I kind of like it.
Yeah, that Ali is kind of a trash card at 2.5. I will say that, but either way.
Yeah, none of them are kind of high end stuff.
What's the Cons Jim Brown go for? About
a couple hundred in a one, and that looks like a rough one. I wish they would have done a better zoom than that because there are a lot of ones, but there's a lot of range in there. Let me see that one.
It looks creased everywhere.
Oh, it looks. They were. I mean, I'm totally gonna butcher this, and the football guys are gonna kill me. These came with hot dogs.
Correct. You're right on that one.
Yes, so, and it looks like it was covered in hot dogs. You see the lines? You see the lines go down?
Yeah, I see it.
It looks like it was in the pack.
At least you know it's legit, right?
Yeah. It's a rough one. And that feller isn't worth anything.
No, it's worth a couple $100.
Really?
Yeah. That's one of his first
I used to have a lot of those wide pens. I think I sold them all.
Yeah, there's like 4 types, but I thought type 4 is 37, not 36, but it could be wrong. Either way, people do buy those. I've sold actually a few of them. I couldn't tell you how much the Menko owes. His rookie's a 59, but he's always a guy you could sell pretty easily. Bobby Jones sells really well, but this Ali's not worth a ton. Yeah, that's I think that's one of the weirdest lots I've seen at an auction house.
Yeah.
All right, now we're on my side of things, non-sports a little bit.
Now it's your turn.
I know.
This is your side right here. I'm not gonna say a word.
This is what
I don't know
like.
a thing.
I want to see what's in some of these things over here. Of course, I don't want to bid because I have a few shows coming up and a few things I just bought from the vintage non-sports auction. But let's see what else is over here. I guess we're getting into like more mem on the side of things. What's there? Exhibits vending packs. We're gonna populate that. All right, 33s. These are kind of just like the Gaudis essentially. Indian chewing gum. Sitting Bull, kind of a bigger name. I picked up a few of those. Davy Crockett, General Custer. People might know Custer's Last Stand. I sold recently a Kit Carson in a 4 for like 60 or 70 bucks. Actually, you were at the show when I bought that raw at Chantilly. Remember I showed you that in the bargain bin?
I know, we were flipping through. You were bobbing and weaving through that guy's stuff. I wasn't buying anything, but I do remember you buying that.
So it came back
a 4.
It came back a 4, yeah, and sold it. That was like I paid $10 for that.
I know.
For like 60 or 70.
I remember thinking, what is this dude doing buying this stuff?
Bro, the ROI on some of that bargain bin non-sports is pretty good. Sam Houston over there. Bowie, the Bowie knives over here. I mean, this stuff, it looks pretty clean overall. I mean, it does move. It's not the most liquid, but there are set collectors. The one thing I don't know is what's in this lot, because I'm not a full-on expert of the set. Some of these cards were very short printed, and like even smaller names we might not know still for quite a lot of money. So you'd have to just cross-reference those. Sometimes they'll say it over here or not. I mean, it's at $400 right now. It's not a bad price. Yeah. This is what I was curious about. So 1930s through 60s non-sports collection, 400 plus cards. Let's take a look. All right, so G-Men over there with a 1939 copyright. Most of these are 1936. I'm curious why they have the 39 copyright. This is a very classic set. This is early on, so it's not as scarce, but some of the high numbers in this go for like $500 in a one. There's one that I was watching recently. Oh, and the other card in the set that's pretty popular, they have Walt Disney drawing Mickey Mouse. Super expensive card. Superman card. This isn't card number 1 or the last card, but like there's a lot of Superman set collectors. Let's see some other stuff that's going on over here. Another G-Men. Some of these G-Men, there's 12 short prints in that set that are extremely expensive. Or sorry, there's 6 that are extremely expensive. I think there's 12 that are still short prints that do like $100 each or something like that. Don't remember those numbers. Like sometimes you have to reference this type of stuff when I do research because you just can't remember everything. And I should also mention there's multiple countries that printed these. I have a French John Dillinger from the set. It's a Globo chewing gum, which they're out of France. They made a lot of other stuff, but for some reason they got a license for G-Men or they decided to print it. And still haven't seen another one of those out there. More gum ink. Going through there. So far, I wouldn't bid on this lot. These are 64 Beetles, very common over there. I was hoping they had some other stuff. Superman packs. Someone may want those for those packs alone. I don't know what they go for. And then this is the last picture here. Oh, we decided to put an 1890s Mayo boxer. We talked about the Mayos. This is what they look like, by the way. Why is that in a non-sports lot? Oh, I wish it was like a John Sullivan. I would bid 100% on that, but
yeah,
it's a no name in that set. But yeah, just a bunch of I don't know the short prints in these sets, but you have to do a little cross-referencing. Nothing like too spectacular by any means like that. Has it kind of broken down. Next one. All right. So these, I don't always trust the years on. These were printed over like 20 years. They're matchbook covers. There's full documentation online, but that's Laurel Hardy. Their first stuff is in the 1930s. They're also in that Mickey Mouse set. Super expensive. It sold for $500 in a one recently. James Bond, Michael Jackson over there. I guess they started fixing it. This is 74 to 76. Jackson has earlier stuff. Elvis over here. Actually, I may be bidding on this lot. I don't have that Black Sabbath. I've been trying to find that Sabbath for a while. But I don't know if that's their first Sabbath in that Vlinder or not. I have to do a little research, but it's pretty bad shape. I have that Jackson 5. It's at $400. I will not be bidding on that. I don't think it's worth that much. I have the rarest Black Sabbath card anyways, and I did not pay close to $400 for that. So this is pretty much all blenders. Original pack's kind of cool. A lot of original packs over there. I saw an original box too. Someone brought it up to me at a card show at the Black Sabbath, but they wanted like 10 grand. I was like, no, thank you. Like the rarest Black Sabbath card, by the way, is the Hischler. It's out of Eastern Europe, produced between 1969 and 70. I paid like $300 for my copy, and most of them are ripped up, and mine's not ripped up. So just kind of like a reference point. But $400 right now. There's 418 cards in there. So like a lot of these on ComC you could sell in here for like $3 to $5 if they're nicer. Like some of the Beatles stuff, they do pretty well once graded, but again, depends on like how the shape is, everything like that. Yeah, I mean that's what I got to say about that lot. And lastly, the exhibit supply unopened. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Cowboys. Cool. I wish there was one with baseball, but it looks like it's non-sports.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, as it is, it's pretty nice. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Just baseballs. You told me skipping that. For the card. Lou Gehrig type 1 photo.
Yeah, I want to take a look at that. See how the autograph looks.
All right, let's keep going through. Do you want this speaker up or no? Just tell me if you see anything else you want up.
No, these are all non-factors to me.
1951 Maze is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. See how it looks.
The J Publishing Mantle Auto.
I think I saw that one on Net54.
1955 Hall of Famers. Thurman Munson signed magazine. It's pretty cool.
I'm not. I don't know too much about Thurman, to be honest, other than the usual.
Passed away in his accident. Yeah, I saw it when I was visiting Leafs headquarters. They had the Topps card issued the year that he passed away in his plane accident. I think they said there was only like 2 that were signed. It's a card.
That program over there, American Page, it's on the right. We might not take a look at that.
That's Sinatra on there with Babe Ruth and Mel.
I like. And those are like cut autos.
Yeah. There's probably some really good stuff that we're skipping over, but it's so hard to cover everything in one video, and we've already been doing this an hour and a half, or give or take.
Yeah, we'll see if we see some stuff. This is starting to get into the modern. We could go through that large multi-sport autograph.
Or is that it?
Right there. It has no bids.
Probably not. Oh, this has bids.
That one has bids. Yeah, but it's items. Yeah.
It's fine. We have enough to go through, I think. I just want to see if this is the last page. And there's game used bats and stuff like that. And there's more pages. More bats. I just want to see if there's stuff.
Oops.
Babe Ruth auto there. Babe Ruth golfing auto. Who else is on that?
I looked at it before. There's nobody else on there. Although I do want to look at that 27, that one.
Yeah. American League pass of Babe Ruth. That's pretty cool.
He's got so much stuff signed.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, do that, Jackie. Is that one? Yeah, 53.
Yeah, let's see how else. Jackie high school yearbook. 55 signed Jackie.
I've seen those. I actually almost bought one. I don't need to see that. Clemente signed photo. Oh no, here we go. Go back up. Clemente signed photo is good, and then if you scroll down that page, 71. No, 71. That one.
All right, and then let's see if there's anything else.
I thought there was a Pistol Pete in this auction.
There might have been, but
no, I would have seen it. I would have seen it.
Lemon Peel baseball. That's pretty cool. Who signed there? Just the there
cover.
Just original photos. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's any basketball or football ones.
Just Joe.
Those are the ones I would know the most about.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, there we go. Go type 1, Jack. Do the. Yeah, we can do both of them.
All right.
That'll be pretty quick.
Jack Johnson. Type 1 photo.
Yeah.
John Wayne photographer's exhibit card.
That's kind of cool.
George Mikan.
This is what I want to talk about. This is definitely what I want to talk about because the autograph is bad.
Is it? Shoot.
Yeah, it's an awful autograph. And I think people are gonna pay. Oh wait, I did forget these are in it. Davy Banks.
Or is that right here?
Right there. I think that item is crazy.
How about
this? These are other type 1s. I don't mind. Oh wait, I did see the Pistol Pete item. That's that one. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
Original rookie photograph for Jerry West.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Rarest Hall of Fame football signature, Charles Bidwell.
No.
10,500 already too.
Actually, maybe we should look at that because I don't know why.
And that's it for the auction. So let's go through
No, go back over there. I want to see if there's any other type 1s that were up top that we missed. No, those are all type 2s, type 4s. Maybe not. That's fine.
All right, let's go through these then.
Yeah, this is a nice one. Pretty good autograph. I don't think it's as nice as the other Lou that we looked at earlier that has the Ruth as well. It's still a nice Garrick autograph. It's a nice shot too. Type 1. Of course, it's not like a playing image or something like that, but he is in uniform. What was the price on this one? It was probably pretty.
Yeah, $5K.
Yeah, $5K. Yeah, it's gonna go for a good amount. I think people are gonna like that auto.
And look, they did the story in the back too.
They did, yeah.
I didn't know I could find the handwriting worse than mine.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
1951 Willie Mays over here.
Yeah, the autograph is not the best. I don't know if they have an age on it or something. That would, of course, change the price dramatically.
1950s autograph.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, if the autograph was a little bit nicer, it's something I would be interested in because it is like more of an oddball type item. If it was a little bit nicer, I'd like it, but we'll see what it goes for. It's only $300.
Seems kind of cheap. I was curious who signed this one. So we have Lions. We have
Joe DiMaggio. Who's that guy? Who is that? I can't even tell. They're so old, and that I can't.
I'm trying to think. White Sox Hall of Famers.
Is that Lopez?
No, I don't think that's.
Somebody signed at the bottom too. You can barely see it. You see that?
Oh, I didn't even see right there.
You didn't see that?
Oh, there's two signatures. There's another one right here too.
They probably have it in the description. I can't tell who the other ones are.
All right. Ray Schalk.
Okay.
That's probably who it was. Ted Lyons, Hartnett, and DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Frank Horn Baker and Dazzy Vance.
They're in the photo. They didn't sign it.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, that's a nice item. Is that type 1?
I
don't know if it said it or not.
I think it said, but still $250 for all those autos seems cheap.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
All right, this is the one that you were curious. Babe Ruth, Sinatra, Mel Ott, Baseball Writers Association. I mean, there's a lot more autographs.
I mean, I generally think that programs and stuff like that, I know this is a program, but similar stuff like that are really undervalued from like an autograph perspective. I mean, people will pay for the koozie rookie auto, thousands of dollars where you can get a koozie program signed for like $100, $150. I think that stuff like this is just so undervalued. I mean, some of those names in there are awesome, to have them all in one piece. You even throw in Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. I love stuff like this. I think this stuff is so undervalued.
Well, a few things. So Luke Solenson there as well. Then you have Lefty Gomez, Carl Hubble, Mel Ott,
Strong even signed it.
But then it says the R was rewritten on that Ruth. Like someone wrote over it, and you can see.
Oh, that's interesting. Did they JSA it? Did they
PSA.
still give it an authentic?
Yeah. It's partially enhanced by
Okay.
an hand.
It's fine. I think items like this, you know, it's not a card, so it's not going to go for some crazy amount. You know, it is at $1,300, but I mean, some of those names on there, Ruth, Sinatra, DiMaggio, Ken Strong. I mean, those are guys that, you know, have all on one item is pretty unique. This is something that is right up my wheelhouse of things that I'd like.
Ruth Gehrig, barnstorming this time.
Yeah, this is another one. This is a great example of, you know, compared to the other one, you can see those autos are super light, especially the Ruth. If you zoom in on that Ruth, they're super light.
Oh, is that Ruth signed twice?
No, it's not a real signature. The one below it's the real one.
Oh, I see. I see it now. Yeah.
You know, this is one that, like, you know, from the autograph perspective, like, you should be paying infinitely more for the other item than something like this. It's still going to go for a lot because it's signed by both.
12K 30.
I just think that, you know, it's still a nice item, but you know, the autograph of the other one is just so ridiculously nice. It should outsell this thing by multiples, in my opinion.
They have the lineups too on the back. It's pretty cool. All right, 53 Jackie Type 1 photo. We're at $7,400 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, of course, Type 1 photos have gone up a massive amount in the past couple of years. I still think they, in some instances, can be undervalued, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of this stuff is so, you know, hard to find. I mean, there might only be a few of these, you know, that exist or something like that. I love the Type 1 photos. You know, big display, big item. I'm a huge fan of this stuff.
Clemente autograph, PSA.
Clemente, actually not a bad signature, you know, in terms of color. I know it looks like a mess, but as someone who's seen a lot of Clemente autographs, color actually isn't that bad. You know, it's not on a card, so it's going to go relatively cheap compared to, like, you know, what his signed cards go for. Pretty nice item. I like the bigger stuff. I think it's a pretty good piece.
Three Rivers Stadium, Clemente.
Yeah, this is I wish they hadn't signed in blue, but, you know, pretty good auto. He signed it. Best wishes. That's why it looks a little bit bigger. Messy signature, but pretty much all of his that are actually authentic are, you know, pretty messy. I don't know if they put anything else. It's also signed by a couple other guys.
I saw Willie Stargell on there.
You see, this is $500. You can get Roberto and Willie on the same item right now because it's not a card. It's not going to go for some insane amount for probably a pretty good price.
Jack Twyman.
Yeah, the, you know, Type 1 photo. It's his con, so it's not going to go for as much. But you're essentially adding in, you know, photo used for a card, which is generally scarce, plus it's signed. This is stuff that if it was a bigger name, I'd be more interested in. But just like a really cool item, you know, used for a card, I think that, you know, consider you can get it for a fraction of what the card itself would sell for with the autograph in a good grade. You know, I think it's a really good piece.
Then we have
another one there from Tommy. Pretty good. The auto looks a little, this is probably a later auto. He looks like he had some trouble signing there. But is this one for the Cons? No, it's for the Celtics program. It's a pretty good piece.
The George Mikan over here. Signed photo.
Yeah, this is one I definitely wanted to point out due to the fact that this thing is going to sell for probably a pretty good multiple of just the Type 1 due to the fact that it's signed. And this is a great example of just being cautious of, this is not a great autograph. I mean, you know, are there many of these that exist out there? Probably not. You know, this could be unique, but really rough autograph from a guy that did actually sign, you know, a fair amount. I mean, I have Mike in autographs. He signed, you know, a decent amount. If you could, you know, if this thing sells for around like the price of just his Type 1, then it's a good deal because it is signed technically and the autograph is there. But I would be cautious as this thing gets out of hand because that is just not a great autograph. Super awesome item. When I first saw it, I audibly made a sound. I couldn't believe that this piece existed. And I was looking, I was like, where's the autograph? Like, where is this thing actually on the photo? It's just a rougher autograph.
I'm curious how many of these are signed. It would have said if it's one of a kind. So
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It's a nice piece though.
This one I'm interested in. You were super excited on this.
Yeah, Davy Banks, one of the original Celtics. I think just due to the fact that he's pretty unknown, this is probably going to go pretty cheap. This is one that I love. I love this item. I think it's super cool as a Celtics fan. This is something that I think is awesome. It's oddball. It's, a lesser name, so I think it's going to sell, a little bit lower than some of the other big dogs. But this is something that I personally, love as an item.
Pete Maravich,
Pistol Pete, probably I think a pretty good item. If signed Pistol Pete stuff is something that you're interested in, just due to the fact he's in a Celtics uniform, it's not a card. It's personalized. The autograph is. I think this is going to go for a pretty good price compared to some of his other stuff. And if this is a market that you want to get involved with, you're probably going to get a pretty good price instead of trying to compete for a signed 76 or 78 like card. I think this is going to be a pretty good one.
Jerry West, original type 1.
Yeah, no, this is a nice photo. He's still alive and signs like crazy. So this is something you could take, get signed, re-slab it. Honestly, if I end up winning this, that's what I'm going to do. It's an awesome item. You probably don't see a lot of these 60s type 1 photos of guys that are still alive and signed. So it's a pretty good opportunity to, whoever ends up with this.
And our last one, the rarest Hall of Fame football signature, Charles Bidwell, signed 1939. Wrigley Field rental contract, also signed by George Halas. So I'm curious what it says over here because we both didn't know. Between the Chicago Bears football and the Chicago Cardinals football club, signed by Bidwell as owner of the Cardinals. Is that who it was signed by? Charles Bidwell and George Halas. Both signatures have been signed. The Pro Football Autograph knows the signature of Bidwell is among the rarest of Pro Football Hall of Fame members. Died in 1947 at the age of 51, long before the Pro Football Hall of Fame was even established. He was inducted in 1967. Despite his 14-year tenure, few signatures have entered the hobby. This is the second I've ever offered. Non-football letter realized $38,000 in 2015.
This is one that I wouldn't, my football buddies are going to kill me that I just don't know about this item.
I like this, though. They allowed the Cardinals to use Wrigley Field for the home games in the 1939 season.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it's going to go for a lot.
Look at that.
Yeah. And those are nice. I've seen Halas before. I've seen his signed stuff before. Those are both, considering it's a contract, those are both really nice signatures.
Man, if it sold for 38 in 2015, what, 50, 60? This one? Especially it being football related.
Honestly, I'm surprised this isn't a front page item considering how rare it is. I mean, I think it could go for a lot more than that. I mean, autograph stuff has gone up a lot. They are names that aren't going to be collected by everybody. But really cool item. And the autographs there are super crisp. I pray somebody doesn't turn those into cut signatures. I hope they leave it as is.
Talking to you, fanatics.
Yeah, please don't do that.
So that was our recap of Lelands. I think next week we're going to do the heritage auction and just kind of walk through this. But if you guys want to see us to do like more of what ends up happening at an auction rather than previews, just let us know in the comment section. If you're bidding on anything, let us know what you win in the near future. And we'll catch you in another video.